Hello everybody, and welcome back to the IzzyFab Speed YouTube channel. It's been a while. Figured I'd hop on here and do a bit of a shop update since I have not touched this thing pretty much since Motorama. We did a little bit, but it's pretty much halted because we are just swamped. I'm trying to do some extracurricular type things at the shop that we'll get into in a little bit, and I just haven't had the time or, quite honestly, the money for it. The new diesel's taken a lot of my spare money because it has been more of a project than I was expecting. And again, we're trying to do some stuff at the shop and it's costing quite a bit of money. So my truck, unfortunately, is not a huge priority, which is, I guess, what happens when you start a business. But so we're gonna run through what we got in the shop right now. I'm gonna try and make this a semi-regular, maybe a weekly shop update kind of video. And we'll see how it works. If you guys like it, then we'll keep doing it. And if not, then we'll pivot. But yeah, so here we go. Okay, so first of all, we've got Phil's S10 up on the build table, chassis table, whatever you want to call it. If you're familiar with Phil, his Instagram is Phil Built Designs. He's had this truck on the go for a long time, and we've been involved in it for quite a while as well. It's an LS2 or LS6, I can't remember. Magnuson supercharger. It had a 4L60 in it. We're in the process now of putting a 6L80 in it, but this truck has been close to done a couple times, and Phil is a glutton for punishment, and apparently so are we, so here we stand. Previously it had just like trailer type inner fenders, and you know, obviously a firewall was finished and whatever, and we decided to turn the metalwork up a little bit. So that's all changing, the engine bay, and then everybody's given Phil an incredibly hard time about his box for years because this truck has been without one for quite some time. Even though the truck did have a box, it just needed some metalwork finished. So it was bondoed and primered long before we ever touched the truck, which I think is, you know, been maybe 10 years or something like that. So we had the truck box blasted, and then excuse me, unfortunately the metalwork in the box was just extremely poor. So what Phil's got going on here is these are quite substantially wide wheels. I think they're 12s, and then this is a step side box. The original one was a step side box that was widened, I believe 4 inches on either side. So you can see we've split this one. We got this little, I don't know, framework system set up so we can just slide the box sides out to where they need to be. And yeah, so that's kind of where we stopped. This was actually supposed to be at Motorama with us. Was hoping to have it all in bare metal, metal worked, whatever, all this, you know, the step shavers and all that stuff built. But we ran into some issues with deciding what wheels to do, getting wheels, blah, 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 whatever. So hopefully we have wheels in a couple of weeks, and then we can resume, because I don't want to retub the firewall and build this box with the wheels that are on it, just in case, you know, we obviously are changing tire sizes and things like that, so it only makes the most amount of sense to get the right wheels on it before we, you know, make everything final. So also the floor is all cut out of it. That's the wiring harness. Ignore that for the time being. Some B-pillar panels from my truck. But yeah, there's a 6L80. We've got the cross member built, so now we're gonna redo the tunnel all the way through. He's got some BMW, really nice BMW buckets for it. So we gotta get those in as well. Yeah, so that's where we're at on that one. Next up, we brought this Parisian in a couple weeks ago. It is a 66 Parisian, and if you're in the States, you've probably never seen one because this is a Canadian-only market car. So the equivalent in the US, I believe, is a Bonneville, Pontiac Bonneville. So obviously 66 convertible, Parisian, two-door. What we started talking to this client about on this car was he had just bought it, wanted a nice driver car. He's got a pretty decent collection of cars. It's got this giant motor in it. and that's about it. So the stock cluster, it had a turbo 350 in it, stock differential, stock wiring, etc., etc., etc. So we brought it in. We were going to come up with a plan for it. We actually custom ordered, had Dakota custom build a cluster for this car. They don't exist in a Parisian, obviously. They're different than the Bonneville version. So we sent them the cluster 4 months ago. They have about a 4-month turnaround, 3.5 months, something like that. It should be here this coming week. I just got the customs notification yesterday, being Friday, so we should see it this coming week. Anyway, we plan to rewire the car, planned to put this cluster in and, maybe add a suspension handling kit or something. And then we started digging into the car. You can't tell from this side of it, but the floor pans are in quite poor shape. And you might be able to tell there. This goopy stuff here, that's all rot. And the trunk, or the rear seat pan, actually looks like it's in good shape from here, but it's been scabbed over and, believe it or not, bondoed so that it looks the part. We got a pretty obvious hole starting there. And then that side, again, you can't tell from this side, but this whole pan here has been filled with a piece of tin, riveted in, and then gooped. So the floor pan in this car is in, quite rough shape. The car itself is in really good shape, but convertibles and 60s General Motors cars and, Ford and whoever else I'm imagining are all the same, where the convertible top leaks like a sieve. Water just sits in that little well there with the bottom of the seat being soaking wet, and they just rot. And that's what happens. You get all this chop mat full of water, and unfortunately, it never really gets out. And then 40 years later, you have a problem like this. 60 years later, 50 years later, whatever. So yeah, the rockers are in excellent shape, inner and outers. So we've got a complete floor pan coming for this. We had it up on the hoist, and also same thing again, the inside of the chassis is really scaly and gross, and the suspension is all tired and whatever. So we spoke with this customer, shot him a proposal. We are going to wind up basically rebuilding this entire car, and we are going to design and build our own chassis for this car. So this is a B-body General Motors car, so Impala, Catalina, whatever else. There's 10 or 12 of them that are all B-body cars in some variant. So we're going to put a chassis together. We're going to design it. We're going to have coilovers in the front. We're going to have a steering rack, Willwood spindles. We've got, I believe, 13-inch Willwoods on the way for it, front and rear. 6-piston fronts, 4-piston rears. We're going to use these wheels because he just bought them, and they actually suit the car quite well. It looks kind of goofy right now because there's a bunch of weight missing, but it does sit a couple inches lower. And right now it's got a 10-inch ride height, I believe, to the bottom of the chassis. I'm going to shoot for probably 6 or 7, all said and done. So it should swallow up this rear wheel pretty good. These are supposed to have the wheel trim covers. We're not going to use those. I'm hoping to actually metalwork this quarter panel so that it's got a nice square edge on it, and then we will actually make a trim to match the front fenders that are obviously not on the car right now, but and then make it look like it's supposed to have an open wheel opening, because it does, when this car is sitting down with all the weight in it, it does actually look quite good. And they look a little old manny with the wheel covers on the back of these ones specifically. So most cars pull them off pretty good, but something about these Parisians don't look all that great. So yeah, we're gonna do, like I said, the chassis, 4 9-inch in the back. We'll get the housing from Quick Performance and the axles. We're gonna leave the 572, but change a bunch of stuff about it. This motor's brand new, so quite an expensive motor. Makes mid 600, I think, horsepower. We are gonna put vintage air in it, so we're gonna change this whole accessory set on the front, put a Holley mid-mount kit on it with the AC compressor, ditch the MSD box because they suck. Change all the fuel lines, hardline everything. Again, vintage air, Dakota cluster, this is going to be a really fun build. I've really been looking forward to something like this for the 5 years we've been in business. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to do these chassis builds that turn into a full car complete build. So I hope this one leads to several more. But yeah, this is, when I started IzzyFab, this is my dream of, you know, where I wanted to take the business right from day one. So it feels really good to be here, or at least to have the opportunity to knock one out. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Chassis build hopefully is going to start design work this coming week. The body's pretty much ready to come off. I'll have the floor pan this week. We've obviously got to take the roof out and all the door panels and stuff. We'll take the doors off, brace the hell out of the body before we cut the whole floor out. And then we've got a tilt column on the way. It had one of those low car floor shift things in it, and I don't think suits the car at all. So we're going to put the column shift back in the car. Again, this is a cruiser type deal, you know, ignoring the fact that it's got a 700 horsepower big block in it. So yeah, I just want to make it nice. We're going to put a built 4L80 in it, hopefully cruise control. These goofy little tailpipes are leaving. They're not even hooked up to anything. They're just bolted in to, I don't know whether that was supposed to be funny or what, but they're gone. I'm hoping I can figure out some LED type taillight situation, whether I'm going to have to build them myself or find another supplier. I spoke to Digitails already, and they're just swamped, so they're not willing to take on any other projects, which is fine. I'd rather them be honest than wait 2 years for something like that. So yeah, I think that's it for this one. We're going to probably do a build series on this Parisian because, again, I'm very excited about it and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we will go further into depth. I'll get it up on the hoist and we'll make a completely dedicated video to this car and show you what we found, show you how bad the floor is from the bottom side. I mean, it's a, what is it, 1966. It's almost a 60-year-old car, so it is what it is, man. It's in remarkably good shape for being a Canadian car and a Corvette, convertible, not a Corvette. So yeah, all right, moving on. All right, I just picked this 67 Camaro up this morning. It is obviously LS swapped, and it is also a convertible, which is hilarious because the going joke at the shop is we always seem to have certain, you know, they're always red cars, they're always trucks, they're always blue cars, it always seems like they come in some type of pair. And we've never had a convertible in the shop until that Parisian in 5 years, which is crazy. And then all of a sudden now we have two of them. So this fella and his buddies have built this 67 Camaro. It's a really nice car, it looks really straight, nice paint on it. Pretty much original interior. And they've put an LS in it. And I mean, it's fine. It's a home job, but it's lacking. Nothing against the guys who did it, but he doesn't really trust it. It doesn't run all that great. He doesn't want to drive it too far away from his house because, again, he doesn't really trust it. So we're just going to go through it, have a good look at everything, make sure the tune-up's good. The AC doesn't work, so we'll check the wiring on that and make sure it holds a vacuum and things like that. And just go through the car. There's a lot of wiring kind of everywhere, so if you followed us for quite a while, we've done a number of these projects where we kind of go through and just tidy everything up and make a nice driver out of it. We'll build a fan shroud because the fans are just mounted to the thing. Probably replace the fans with something a little more aggressive. We got a ton of room in here, so he was complaining that the car does overheat, so maybe we'll put some nice thick Spall fans in there and a proper shroud and deal with that way. That should be pretty straightforward. I don't see any reason why the car would overheat otherwise. You know, it's a pretty stock LS. It's got a sloppy stage 2 cam in, which I don't particularly like those cams, but we're gonna try and make it work. But yeah, just go through it, get it up on the hoist. He's complaining that the exhaust hits, which is, you know, not uncommon. Have the tune checked fuel pressure, just the obvious things. You know, make it run and drive. He said the torque boxes aren't great on the car either, so again, we'll get it up on the hoist and give it a good look. I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this car. I told the guy we are going to basically make a list of what it needs, and if it's greater than us being able to accomplish it in a couple of days, which, I mean, this is not a couple day project obviously, but if we can make it run and drive and he can drive it for the summer and we can get it back in the fall, then I'll do that. We have a number of cars that, you know, obviously come first in line, so we have a waiting list, and but I thought if I could help this guy out quick, we managed to have a hole for a couple days. We've got a C10 Blazer coming in next week to get finished up, so I figured we'd bring this in for a couple days and at least, you know, sort out some issues and make it run and drive and give him AC for the summer, and then we can dig deeper into the general tidying, making it look cool, etc. Come the fall. It's also got a 700 R4 in it, which scares me a little bit because this kickdown cable scenario is kind of wonky and goofy, so I may wind up just convincing him to put a 4L60 or something like that in it. Again, the car is not, you know, it might make 350 horse, so it's just a 6-liter with a sloppy stage 2 cam in it and some springs and whatever, from what I've been told. So not a horsepower monster, more of a cruiser, again, top down kind of cruiser thing. So we'll see what he can, or we'll see what we can come up with. Hopefully it's nothing crazy. Hopefully there's, you know, I mean, it ran and drove in the trailer this morning when I picked it up, and it ran and drove and idles, and so we shouldn't have too much issue getting it kind of sorted out enough for him to drive this summer. But it is a very nice car. Headlight doors don't work for some reason. Again, not hindering him from driving it. So get it up in the air, make sure nothing's going to kill him. Sort the tune out, sort the air out. Make sure it's not going to burn to the ground. Just simple stuff like that. Very nice, clean car, though. I really, really like the white on it. And, yeah, pretty straightforward one on this. Yeah, what else? We're really trying to, if you've been here in the past, the office is greatly different. I'm actually going to set up a desk here in the corner. I've got 2 monitors, and we're going to have a proper CAD setup. I've been working upstairs at the kitchen table doing all our CAD work on my laptop, so it has sucked. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm spending a large amount of my day doing CAD stuff, so it's time for me to get that a little more organized. Anyway, really looking forward to the Parisian, especially really looking forward to getting that rolling. It's going to be a fun project, and it's going to be probably, I would expect, a year worth of work. Obviously, the car is going to hit kind of a stall while I'm designing the chassis, but that is what it is. That's part of it. So we should have the body off this week, and then we should be able to start getting some kind of chassis set up for it. I've got all the ball joints and bushings and brakes ordered. We've got, what else did I order? I've got the accessory set ordered, column, all the stuff to make the original horn work with that wheel. I'd like to be able to get that wheel redone. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of months, there's going to be some decent renovations done to our building also. If you've been here, the ceiling on that side of the shop is quite a bit lower than this side. And the hoist, because of it, has to be set to the lower setting. I would like to move this hoist actually over there and put another door in to our little side street. And then that can be our disassembly, final assembly, quick in and out kind of jobs. And this side of the shop stays the, fabrication, sparks, dirty, whatever kind of work. So I want to keep this side really to the dirty side, metalwork, etc. So hopefully that's going to start soon. And yeah, so anyway, I think that's going to end this video off. I've been rambling about a lot of nothing. So if this is something you're interested in me doing regularly, then let me know. And if not, then let me know. But yeah, stick around and for this one especially, because it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching.